Hey, what's up you guys? Yes, today is another time for some conspiracy theories. So today we're going to be talking about one of the most famous conspiracy theories there is. I've been obsessed with this one since I was a kid. It really is kind of what got me into conspiracy theories in the first place. And that is the theory that we never landed on the moon. It was all fake. So as we know it, Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong landed on the moon for the first time in 1969. And the whole thing was televised so all of America could see. But because it was televised, a lot of people started noticing things that didn't quite make sense. And that's how the conspiracy theories started. So why would the moon landing be fake? So back in the day, America really wanted to get to the moon first. They wanted to beat all the other countries. But technically, they didn't really have the technology to quite do that yet. So instead, they created it on a soundstage and they filmed it and they were like, hey, guess what? We were here first. And here's some of the reasons why people think it was fake. Number one, when they put the American flag in the moon, the flag started waving. But on the moon, there's no air in the atmosphere, so there's no wind. So technically, the flag would not wave, but it was waving as if there was air. Check it out. Hello? That was air, that was wind, that was an air conditioner from the set. Well, when people started questioning this, NASA was like, oh, because like the flag was rolled up and crumpled and stuff. When they unrolled it, it was just like going back to its original shape. No, it was waving. But that's not the only piece of evidence. There's a lot more. Number two, where the stars? If you're standing on the moon and you're in the middle of outer space, wouldn't you be surrounded by stars? I mean, when you're in LA and there's like no smog that day, or when you're in New York and all the lights go out, you look up in the sky and you see stars. And those are in overly populated, smoggy areas. If you're in outer space, you should literally be in the #1 place to see stars. Not total blackness, which is what you saw. Just look at the footage again. No stars. I don't know, to me that looks like a soundstage with like a big black curtain, but whatever. Number three, the Sea Rock. Now the Sea Rock is famous because it is a rock that was in a picture of the moon landing and there's a sea carved in it. Now if this was just a random rock in outer space, there would not be a perfectly carved or written sea. Unless there was aliens there and they randomly had a Sharpie and they were like, ooh, let me tag this. But what a lot of people think is that it was actually a prop, you know, just like you'd see on a movie set. And they lettered them and numbered all the rocks to make sure they were in the right place. So like the Sea Rock goes over the sea. Well, a set decorator must have accidentally forgot to turn the rock upside down, and that's why you can see the sea. But the rock wasn't the only thing that people saw that made them think it was a movie set. If you look really closely in the reflection of one of the astronauts' helmet, you can see a stage light hanging in front of him. Yeah, that's not a spaceship, that's not some UFO or an alien shuttle, that's a stage light. And back in the 60s, they didn't have the technology to like CGI it out, you know, like they were literally probably on just some soundstage and just like trying to make sure real. Speaking of stage lights, there's another piece of evidence that involves them. Now, if you're on the moon, the sun is like literally directly hitting you. So that would make every shadow go a certain way. For example, the light is hitting me right here, right? So my shadow is going behind me. My hand shadow is going behind me. But if there was a light up here and this light, it would make some shadows go behind me and some go in front of me. It would just make all the shadows go everywhere. Well, that's what started happening during the moon landing. Look at these pictures. The shadows are going in all different ways, which means they're not coming from the sun. They're coming from lights, lights, lights everywhere. Ugh, it's so creepy to think about. Just imagine like you're in the 60s, you're so excited, everybody's huddled around the TV, you're watching what you think is somebody landing on the moon for the first time and putting the flag in, and then years later you find out none of it was real. It was all bullshit. Once again, it's a theory, I don't want to get sued or put in jail, but I mean, all the evidence is not looking good. Another thing people noticed was that when the craft landed, there was literally like no crater, there was no dust everywhere. It literally landed just perfectly. Well, scientists have said that if you land something on the moon, it would literally go poosh and like create a crater and it would just like create a huge space. None of that happened, which even more so looks like they just sat it on there. And the last piece of evidence is what really creeps me out just thinking about it. So obviously if this was a set and it wasn't real, then they must have been on wires and they, you know, weren't really anti-gravity, they were just pretending. Well, some of the footage of the moon landing and other moon landings has been looked at and people are claiming that they can see the wires. Take a look. I don't know. It just creeps me out so much. And it's not a shock because the government fakes so much. I mean, we've talked about, you know, 9/11, we've talked about crisis actors. Why wouldn't the moon landing be fake? You know, why wouldn't we fake that just to win over other countries? It makes you wonder, have we ever actually been to the moon? What if the moon is a hologram? What if it's not real? Who the f knows? Ooh! What if the moon is a hologram and is controlled by the aliens? Stay with me. And the aliens are like, people are figuring out it's a hologram. Hey guys, you need to make it look like you landed on the moon. We'll help you out. Here's some money, go get a sound studio. Maybe the aliens are in control of all of it. I don't know, that's a little crazy. Not as crazy as the theory that the moon is empty and aliens actually live inside of it, or the theory that all the members of the Illuminati also live inside of the moon and they're watching Earth from like big monitors. Those are a little crazy. The moon landing being fake, kind of believe it. Well, there you guys go. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Let me know down in the comments if you believe that it was fake or not.